If your weight loss has stalled on Tirzepatide or Semaglutide and your first instinct is to push the dose up, stop for 2 minutes, because reaching for a higher dose when you stall is most of the time the wrong move. And sometimes it's a real trap. It costs you money, makes you feel awful, and still it doesn't move the scale. There are a few times going up is exactly the right move. Let me show you how to tell the difference. I'm Dr. Lee, obesity medicine provider and Tirzepatide user. I've been prescribing these medications since 2021, back when these GLP-1s first came out, when nobody knew how to spell them, pronounce them, or even knew what the heck they were. Now I'm a user too. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the 4 signs it's actually time to step your dose up. The trap that gets thousands of people chasing a higher dose when the dose was never the problem. Why higher dose does not mean faster, and how real titration is supposed to work. So you end up on the lowest dose that keeps you losing, not the highest one your body can tolerate. Stay to the end. The last part is a mistake almost everyone makes, and it's the one that quietly stalls you out. Let me tell you about a patient who taught me this the hard way. He lost a good amount, then scale parked for 3 weeks. He panicked, figured the medication was wearing off, and he talked someone into bumping him up 2 steps at once. Within days, he was nauseous, exhausted, couldn't eat, miserable, and 3 weeks later, same weight. The higher dose didn't melt anything off. All it did was pile on side effects. When he finally came to me, we actually walked his dose back down, fixed what was really going on, and the scale started moving again, on less medication. That's the whole point of today. More is not automatically better. Knowing when to go up and when not to is one of the most important skills you can have on these drugs. Before we talk about going up, you have to understand what the dose is even for. These medications work mainly by turning down your appetite and quieting food noise, so you naturally eat less. That's the engine. The dose is the dial on that. On appetite control, it's not a speed dial for fat loss. So here's the rule that changes everything. You only need enough medication to keep your appetite controlled. If your appetite is generally under control and you're still stalled, adding more medication usually does nothing for the scale, because the dose was never the thing holding you back. What it will do reliably is increase your side effects. Higher dose means faster nausea, more fatigue, more gut issues, not faster results. Burn that in. You titrate to control appetite, not to force the scale. Okay, so when is it generally time to step up? Here are the 4 signs, and you really want more than one of them. Sign 1, your appetite and the food noise have clearly come back. You're hungry again, thinking about food again, meals creeping bigger. That's your body telling you this dose isn't covering you anymore. Sign 2, you've actually held your current dose long enough to judge it, at least a month, often more, not a few days. These drugs build up slowly. Most people who plateau just didn't give the dose time. Sign 3, you're not yet near the top of the dosing range. There's generally room to move up. And sign 4, your nutrition is already handled. Enough protein, you're not starving yourself, so you know the stall isn't coming from your inputs. When several of those are true at once, stepping up with your provider is reasonable. When they're not, that's the trap. And real quick, if this is clearing things up for you, do me a favor and hit subscribe. I put one of these out every week, all right? Now the trap, and this is the part I really need you to hear because it gets thousands of people. The trap is chasing the dose. Every time the scale pauses, you go up again. Stall, go up. Stall, go up. The problem is, if your appetite is still controlled, the stall is almost never about the medication. It's about everything around it. It's water you're holding. It's eating too little, so your metabolism slowed to match. It's the bites and drinks that quietly crept back. It's a lower body weight that simply needs fewer calories now. None of that is fixed by more drug. So what happens to the dose chaser? They climb to the top of the range way too fast. They live with worse and worse side effects. And the worst part, they've got nowhere left to go. The runway is gone. So when they truly do need a bump later, the room is gone. And blasting your appetite down to nothing for months has its own cost. Muscle loss, hair shedding, feeling wrecked. Finding the lowest dose that keeps you losing instead of the highest you can stand isn't something you should have to figure out alone. That's exactly why I built what I'll point to you at the end. Hold that thought. So here's how titration is actually supposed to go. You hold each step long enough to see what it really does. Weeks, not days. You only step up when your appetite tells you to, not when the scale has a bad week. You go up the smallest amount that gets your appetite back under control, not the biggest jump you can talk someone into. And the goal you're aiming at is the opposite of what most people think. It's not the maximum dose, it's the minimum effective dose, the least medication that keeps you losing with the fewest side effects, the lowest cost, and the most room left for later. And once you've reached your goal, the same logic carries you into maintenance, the lowest dose that holds your weight, which is the whole video on its own. One more thing, and it's the most important. Do not adjust your own dose off a YouTube video. Not mine, not anyone's. I'm telling you how these decisions get made so you can have a smarter conversation, not so you can self-prescribe. Stacking jumps on your own or pulling from sketchy sources to go higher is how people land in the ER with their gut shut down. Every dose change should go through a provider who's actually looking at you, your response, your side effects, your labs, your goal. That's not me covering myself. That's the difference between this working for you and this hurting you. So back to that patient, the one who jumped 2 steps and felt awful for nothing. We walked him back down. We upped his protein, gave the dose time to actually work, and didn't touch it again for over a month. He started losing again on less medication than when he was stuck, feeling like a human being instead of a zombie. The people who win aren't the ones on the highest dose. They're the ones on the right dose, held long enough to do its job. So here's the bottom line. Don't reach for a higher dose on a reflex. Ask first, has my appetite actually come back? Have I held this dose long enough? Is there room? And is my nutrition handled? If yes, step up slowly with your provider. If not, the dose was never the problem, and going up just buys you side effects. The goal is the lowest dose that keeps you losing, not the highest one. That's how I run things with my patients. So if you're stalled and not sure whether it's time to move your dose or fix something else, the link in my description has more information and how to get you started. We'll look at where you are and your safest next step together. Or comment GLP-1 on any of my posts on Instagram and Dr. Lee to find out more. And do me a favor, hit subscribe and drop a comment. Next week, I'm breaking down actually what happens to your body when you stop these medications and the 80% number nobody warns you about. I'm Dr. Lee. I'll see you in the next one.